Man, that is crazy. It is still... What is the deal? I'm going to take a look over here. Ah... It seems to be acting a little bit better over there with YouTube, but man, I don't know why all of a sudden that started giving grief. Maybe I won't stream to YouTube. I don't know. I hope you guys are all doing well. Good morning to everyone. We're going to be getting started here in just a few minutes. I'm waiting for Captain Fantastic to get over here. Let's see here. Where'd my Zoom thing go? There it is. Gotta get the Zoom window ready. And so what's been going on? Anybody in the chat room? Be sure you say hi. Tell me how your week has been. Tell me what you've been doing. Have you gotten any of your projects finished, accomplished, started, anything like that? Tell me what you're working on. I've been working on some stuff for CTA. I've been doing stuff for several clients. That's one of those mixed blessing things, right? So I need the clients in order to, that's can't financially survive if I don't have clients. So the blessing is having the clients and stuff. The mixed part of the blessing is I really want to put all my focus into Church Training Academy, but I can't because I've got to do the client thing. So it's like this juggling act, and sometimes I have these weeks where I get like 5 emails. Hey, we'd like for you to do this project, or we'd like you to do this project, or something, and and then they all kind of just pile up, and it's like, I gotta do all this client stuff because I've got hard client deadlines. And thankfully, I've got my partner, Justin, that you guys know, and he is able to stand in gaps that I leave from time to time, and I'm able to stand in his gaps and stuff, so that's really cool. Really thankful about that. Let's see. Get back over here. All right. There is one person watching the stream right now, and I think that's me. So I'm talking to myself. Goodness gracious. Set that music up a little. So I'll show y'all something. I'm thinking of ordering. I'm using what do you call it? OBS. You guys know that. I'm using OBS here on the camera in the studio. And let's see, am I off? There we go. I'm using OBS on my camera in here, in my studio in here. Let me cut to this one. There you go. Hi. So I'm using, for the 10th time, OBS. But you guys see right here, I've got my keyboard and I've got my mouse. I've got a mixer and stuff over here, so that's all within reach, and I can easily turn my levels up and down and all that, which is great. But let's see. I'll show you. This is going to be kind of weird, but I'll share the OBS screen here with you for a sec and let you see. There it is. Okay. So you can see that, if I want to change scenes or something, I've got to come find a scene over here. Like here's our dual window scene between myself and the left monitor over here, and so I can cut to that. So if I want to fade and cut, I have to do all this stuff using the mouse. So that's why you guys see me a lot. See my eyes. Let me cut to that. See my eyes like darting to my screen back and forth and doing all this when I'm trying to talk and I'm going to show you something and I'm having to, look back and forth between screens and do all that sort of stuff. And make sure that I hit the cut button instead of the long fade button, because I don't want a long fade. Just little things like that. One of the things that's really cool is the new version of OBS gives us, where did it go? Not multi-view, multi-view windowed. So it gives us the multi-view window screen. Let me show you all that. Where did it go? It went away. It got moved behind the window there. There it is. Let me bring it up. See, I didn't want to start that timer, but oh well. The right screen. There it is. So let me show you that. Okay, so see, I have this multi-view window right here that I'll put front and center here. And what's really cool about it is it shows me the preview in the program window, and then it shows me the different windows. So I can easily do my scene changes. I can call up my scenes real quick just by visually seeing them instead of having to look over here by the names that I've given them. Now that's really cool. I like that. That's a little more traditional for a more traditional of a metaphor, I guess, a visual metaphor, visual setup for doing live broadcast, streaming, switching, things like that. So that's really cool. However, I still have to click around and do all this sort of stuff. I don't have, let's see, let's go to camera 2. There we are. There we go. As you can see, I've got my keyboard. And one of the things I found about OBS is like when you set up keyboard shortcuts, when you have OBS running, those keys that you have set up as shortcuts end up being like system-wide. So one of the things that was really weird was I set it up so that I could use the enter key to cut between scenes. So if I have, I've got this one here and I've got this one here. If I want to cut back and forth, I'm using my mouse, but I can click back and forth like this. But if I wanted to, like if I was doing this on my TriCaster with a keyboard, I just hit enter and it cuts the scene. It does the scene change for me. And if I hit spacebar, it does a fade, right? So when I set these keys on the keyboard to be the shortcuts to do that, to execute those commands, it sticks system-wide. So I found there were times when I would be doing something, doing a show, and while my guest is talking and is like full screen, I may jump over real quick to a browser and try to find something, right? So it's like, okay, he mentioned this, so I want to show this to them. So I go over here and it's like, oh, he talked about a product. So I want to go to Amazon and I'm going to type in the product name. And when I would hit enter to do a search, it would cut the screen, and all of a sudden it's it's a video is playing, or whatever the previewed scene was up. I was like, dang it. So I say all that to say that I'm still relegated to having to like click around and look and do all this sort of stuff. But I found something out there, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna show it to you guys. It's from Elgato, and holy cow, there it is, Stream Deck. It's Elgato Stream Deck, and let me show you guys the left window here. It's this little deal. It's $150 on Amazon. And it looks like Justin is joining us. But what's really cool about it is it is a USB device and it is programmable. So I can program, let's see, there we go. I can program these keys to be certain things. So if I wanted to, I could have that top row be like my scenes, scene 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 across the top. And then underneath, I could have it where it was like scenes that had lower thirds. And then videos down at the bottom, like the video window, or the left computer screen, or the right computer screen, or whatever. So I can just click on these things and it will execute these commands, much like if I was using my switcher, like on my TriCaster. The little box with the T-bar and the channels 1 through 4 and 1 through 4. I could preview and program it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that I'm going to grab this. And by the way, I was going to tell you, I probably need to go ahead and get the new device that they have as well that a lot of people are It's called CamLink. There it is. The compact HDMI capture device. And it's like USB 3. Let me show you that as well, guys. This is it. Elgato CamLink. Compact HDMI. So HDMI source goes in here, and there's your. Here, I'll bring it up. If it will hurry. There it is. Okay. So HDMI goes in there, and then down on this end, USB 3, and that goes into your device, and the machines recognize it, and there you go. So instead of having to pay $300, let's say, for a Magewell USB adapter, which, by the way, is really a good adapter. Chris Oshinsky is using it. She loves it. I mean, it's solid. Instead of doing that, you could basically pay a third of the price, $115 instead of $300, for one from Elgato. And Elgato has been around for a long time. They've been doing video game capture, external video source capturing in analog and HDMI. Their cards are great. They've been around for a long time. So I trust them. So if Elgato comes out with something and it works cross-platform, I definitely would recommend it. Just like Blackmagic, like that Thunderbolt adapter that I've shown you guys before, the little mini recorder. $140 for the mini recorder. I've got the PCI card version down here in my Mac Pro that I use, and it's great. $130, $140 for it. It's fantastic. So now I want to try this CamLink thing and see if that works, because I've got HDMI, Thunderbolt on my laptop, and then I've also got USB 3. So, ideal situation, I could have two high-quality cameras over there on my laptop when I'm traveling. And for $100, I can afford to be wrong. Oh, and you can return it because it's Amazon, right? Anyway, let me see if Mr. Justin is here. Are you here, dude? Are you on?
I am
Can I
here.
hear you? Let me turn up the volume here.
You can hear me.
Yes. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am good. Let's see.
I am happy because it's Friday, and by the time we're done with this, half of my Friday will be done, and I'll be that much closer to the weekend.
Awesomeness. Awesome.
Yep.
Let's see here. I need to set up a third monitor, dude. That's what I need to do. They can see you. There you are. Now you're on the screen.
Great. Now I can say, "Oh man, I'm so tired." Oh.
Oh, look at those guns.
Look at that.
Oh. Hey, I like the Iron Man little resin hologram looking.
Yeah, isn't that pretty
thingamajig.
cool? Yeah, it's an Iron Man hologram. My wife got it for me for Valentine's Day. When we first got married, I was like, "Look, don't ever get me Valentine's Day stuff. It's a holiday for you. Just don't even worry about it."
Yeah.
And then, of course, she gets me stuff like this. And I'm like, you know what? You remember what I said last? Of course, you remember what I said last year. Just forget about that and just keep them coming.
Yeah, always get me stuff.
So-
Always.
So, yeah, I have like an Iron Man welcome mat, too, that she got me a year ago. And then another wall hanger. I actually need to change this out for that wall hanger. And she always gets me this stuff like this for Valentine's Day. So I'm like, I'll take it.
That is extremely cool. I dig it. You got a cool wife.
She is the coolest. I don't deserve her, but that's a different podcast.
That's the I Don't Deserve My Wife show. All right, so we will be ready to get started here in just a sec. Now,
YouTube's coming out real well.
it is good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not choppy. The frame rate still is a little bit lower than Facebook, but
Yeah, it is.
it's better than it was last week.
Yeah, it's only doing 15 frames.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta love that. All right, well, hey, it is what it is, right?
Better than 7.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I am ready when you are.
All right, give me just a sec.
for everyone watching, we're going to go into Easter Q&A today. I mentioned it in the email. So if you have a question, I like to call them burning questions. If something's just burning in your soul and you're like, I need to figure this out, please ask it in the comments. Because we have some canned questions we've discovered that are being asked inside the church groups, the church Facebook groups. And we have those prepared, but we absolutely, to thank you for watching live, we want to address your questions live. So if you do have a burning question with Easter coming up, we are 7 Sundays away, which really means like 6 weeks away. So the crunch time is starting to come. And if you're not feeling the crunch, you will in a few weeks. So ask your questions. You're here live. We want to thank you and we want to help you live and give you a reward for watching live. So
give you a reward. I like that.
Give you a reward that like people watching this on Tuesday are going to be like, oh man, I wish I could have asked a question. Well, you could have, Dave. You could have been watching live. Oh wait, no, I wasn't talking about you, Dave. I was talking to Dave listening to the podcast.
Yes.
I don't know why the name Dave. I always call out random names that start with "p," or "k," but Dave came out for some reason.
Oh heavens! All right. Start the recording. And we're recording. Cool. All right. So, for everybody that is watching live, by the way, is anybody in the chat room? Has anybody said anything? Any questions? Because I've got you full screen and I can't see it now.
Yeah, Christopher Hall is watching on Facebook and said hello and glad to see you upgraded. I assume glad to OBS 21.
Yes.
And we have a new watcher, to me at least, Dwayne Smith from Gainesville, Georgia. He's watching on YouTube. I'm going to shout him out in a minute when we do our intro.
Awesome.
Because he had some lovely things to say.
Fantastic. I love it. New folks. Is Ramon in here?
I haven't seen him.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll get the notification. Most of these guys, if we're not friends, which to be honest, I filter my Facebook friends a lot. That's a very personal platform to me. So I don't friend everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, by the way.
Yeah. It took Dave like 3 tries. And then he was like, come on, man, we're business partners. And I was like, fine.
Yeah.
Accept.
I gave you the keys, man. I gave you the keys.
But so yeah, so I only get the notifications for people watching that I know.
Gotcha.
Even though I am logged in with Church Training Academy, I don't know why it works that way, but yeah. So if you're watching and you want us to know you're watching, leave a comment down below.
Please. Oh, and share, guys. Go share. Speaking of which, I need to share.
I'm gonna share it right now. Now that we're starting,
I'm gonna take you out of full screen here, and I'm gonna pop over and share it. Share and share alike. Remember her from college. Let's see. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Jordan. Hello, Christopher. And why do I not see the share button? What's the deal? Why am I not seeing it?
Because it's in an obvious place for you to click, and you're a techie, so you like to try to find 10 buttons to click before you can accomplish something.
Well, it's ridiculous because I'm sitting here. I got the streaming window up, and I got I can edit the broadcast and end it and stuff. But I can't.
It's got to be the stream then, because you're on the streaming window, right? I don't think there's a share button there. I think that's just for monitoring.
Yeah. Why would you not want to give the person making the content? Why would you want to take the ability away from them to actually share the content?
I think it's because you're using the API. I think if you go live native in Facebook, I know that's not ideal for what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I think the share button's still there because I've used that before.
See, and that's going to take me.
But I agree.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Come on.
I'm on your side, Dave. Stop yelling at me.
Okay. See, and it's bringing up the business manager, and I don't. Did you share it?
I'm sharing it right now.
Okay. Dang it. Man, it's just jacked up everything. Facebook. Driving me dippy.
Post. All right, it is shared on my end. Let's get started.
Jay Sekulo's going live too. I'm going up right against Jay Sekulo. I mean, this is ridiculous. What's he have? 5 points.
I don't know who that is.
Oh my gosh. There it is. I'm gonna share it. All right, I'm gonna share.
You should report Jay's stream. You should report it as inappropriate.
Yes, that's what I'll
take him down.
That's what I'll do. The American Center for Law and Justice definitely those ne'er-do-wells.
How dare they stream at the same time we are?
Oh, goodness. Okay.
All right, let's
So
do
here
it.
we are, folks. Here we are. We're going to do this. Okay. Let me cut back over to me, and we will get this puppy started. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to another thrill-packed example of live streaming. I was going to say excellence, but it may not be excellence. It may be live streaming. What's a good word, Justin? What's a good word to say this is live streaming pandemonium, right? Wouldn't you say?
It's definitely not a kerfuffle.
No, no, it's not a
Not
kerfuffle.
yet.
No, we
Not
know
yet.
what we're doing, but it is a little chaotic and pandemonious. Oh, hey, that's a new word, pandemonious from time to time. By the way, guys, if you are joining us for the first time and we've not met, my name is Dave Curley. I am the founder of churchtrainingacademy.com, which is a place that we all come together and learn how to use and exploit media and technology so that we can take the gospel out to the world at large and to the digital world, the land of the internets. And sitting right over here next to me is this guy that I hang out with way too much, apparently. His name is Justin Nava, and he's my business partner. How you doing, Bubba?
I am doing good. I am excited for today because we're actually doing a little bit of back and forth, and we'll get into that later. But first, I want to shout out Dwayne Smith, not Jane. I don't know why the W just left.
Jane, that's my mom's
Dwayne.
name.
I want to shout out Dwayne Smith. He's watching on YouTube live from Gainesville, Georgia. And he said, brother, I'm assuming he's talking to you because I'm not helpful to anyone. He said, brother, I absolutely love your videos. You have taught me more than you'll ever know. So you'll never know, Dave, how much you've taught him, but he is here and he is watching live. And I'm going to put you on a timer here. I'm going to set a timer on my phone for 30 seconds. Dwayne, just for watching live, I'm going to give you the first question to ask Dave. Dave, Dwayne wants to know, what do you think of the Mevo?
Okay, two things. Number one, Dwayne, thanks, dude. That's huge. You made my day. And what do I think of the Mevo? I think the Mevo is great. It is a fantastic tool for what it is. I've got a Mevo. It's not in here. It's out in the garage on that set. It is fantastic. The Mevo gives you the ability to take your phone or a tablet and have this device that you can live stream from. It's a 4K device, which is really cool. And it does, the one I have, does a 1080 stream. So I've got this 4K platform stage, but a 1080 window, so I could digitally zoom around and stuff. And it's great for what it is. You can take external audio and put it in. You can hook it up to a hard line. It's fantastic. The problem is, though, it's a dedicated device. So it is not it doesn't follow the standard. So I can't take my Mevo and incorporate it as an NDI device or as an IP camera in my workflow with other things like on my TriCaster or using OBS or Wirecaster, vMix or any of those other things, right? That is the problem with it. Now, if you're using the live streaming software, the broadcast software or their devices, then you can use Mevos as cameras on there, which is really cool. So it gives you the best of both worlds if you're in that ecosystem. Otherwise, I say don't get it.
I tell you what, give a mouse a cookie. I said you had 30 seconds, you used a minute and 15 seconds. I don't know what to think of that, Dave. Can I trust you? Can I trust what's coming up in this grandiose of a pandemonious show? Can we get it done in 30 minutes?
I think we can get it done in 30 minutes.
I think we can too. I know you're just so passionate about these things. It's like asking me, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about Squarespace? And I'm like, okay, I'll try to give it to you in 30 seconds, but really it's probably going to be a minute 15 or an hour 15.
Yes. Or like you were biting your tongue last night. Guys, we had our mastermind live coaching group for our CTA insiders. By the way, if you guys are interested in learning about that, you can go to churchtrainingacademy.com/join, get a little info there. What we do is every 2 weeks we get together with our members in our private Facebook group, and we get on a Zoom conference call, and we all work with each other to try to get through some roadblocks, things that folks are running into. I can't figure out how to do this, or I'm thinking about doing this. What do you guys think? That kind of deal. And Justin shares his wealth of knowledge. I share everything I can possibly think of. And what's really cool is when the people in the group are helping each other. So Justin and I had a few instances last night where we could like turn our mics off and just let Tommy help Neil, or Neil helped Tommy, and we had one case where Neil was showing me some stuff about the TriCaster, and I've been using TriCaster for 10 years. So anyway, we were doing this last night, and one of our members showed you the website, and I could swear I saw your eye twitching. You were he was like, "Okay, this is what the pastor is making me put up," and I could see you sitting over there, just kind of like going, "Oh, this is a step backwards."
It yeah. It was not hard to bite my tongue because we were already running late in the mastermind, and it was like, this is more for probably next time.
An
But
entire show.
yeah, I'll just say this. I set out to do a 45-minute course for the church website, the Ultimate Church website blueprint.
Yep.
And I think I set out to do it 20 or 30 to 45 minutes. It ended up being like an hour 15. And then I have like another video that I haven't even like uploaded to it yet. And that's like another 30 minutes of just all the little details that you can get into. So
Yeah.
we all have our passions, right? And I know a preacher's like, you tell the preacher like, hey, you got 20 minutes, dude, like maybe 30. And then it goes on for 45 minutes. But then you're like, you know what? I don't even care. It was really good. It was really good. Like, keep going. That's great. Some people, right? Probably not. But yeah, you'll get that here sometimes. But we need to get started.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. First off, let's hear about our pro tip. What do you got?
So today's pro tip I'm going to give you is about your website journey. And if you're thinking, dude, it's a website, like what journey? Like let me school you a bit. Let me tell you why your website is more than just a page where you hope people learn about your church. If someone visits your church, like comes on a Sunday morning, you have a next step that you want them to take. In fact, when I started coaching churches and coaching church leaders on marketing, one of the first things that I set to do was define a path that you want visitors to take. And much to my surprise, even though churches don't advertise it, even though churches don't talk about it a lot, many leaders have this in mind. They have a what they may call a growth path or a discipleship path that they want visitors to go through their lifetime at that church. So, for example, for a typical discipleship path or growth path, if someone comes to the church on Sunday morning, they get plugged into a small group. That's step 2. Then they hopefully get saved, or maybe they go to an event at step 3, get saved, step 4. Then they plug into a ministry and start serving. That's step 5. And then step 6 is usually they start discipling other people. And then sprinkled in there might be some other things like they should start giving at this point, or they should find a dedicated disciple to study under or to learn from or be discipled by. But along those paths, a lot of churches have those little paths. And I think leaders have wised up that there is wisdom there and there is purpose there, because otherwise you're just having people come in there with no strategy and you're just hoping something connects with them instead of actually encouraging them to take a next step. So at our church, for example, we encourage them to take a next step and come to our membership class. It's not like a go through this class and get a certificate and hey, you're a member, but it's more of, come and see what we believe, come and see the ministries we do, come and see what's important to FBE, come and see what we don't do, what we're not equipped to do, and learn more about what our church does and if this is a place you want to call home. That's our typical next step. Whether they're a Christian or not a Christian, that's what we want them to do next. So your church probably has something like that. And I hope you know about that. If you're plugged in, or especially if you're a leader of the church, you kind of have an idea of what you want people to go through when they go to your church. And then the same thing you should have for your website is create a visitor journey through your website that gets them to take that next step. Now, when I first started doing websites for churches, I didn't really have that. I knew I wanted them to go to a certain page, but I didn't really have a journey for them to go through to get them to a desired result. And so what that looks like is you kind of have to map out when you build your website, or when you're just, right now, just look at your website and ask, what is the one thing I want someone to do after they visit our website? Most churches, it's plan a visit. Eventually, they should be planning a visit. Some churches, especially the smaller churches, and I love this, they want to connect the pastor with the person. The goal is not to get someone to fill a seat in the church. The goal is to create a relationship. And so I've had a couple pastors tell me, you know what, honestly, if I really had to choose, I'd rather sit down with someone at Starbucks than have them come to church on Sunday, like just as a first step. And that's fine. Some churches want a first-time visitor to plug into a small group, and some churches want them to plug into a membership group. That's totally fine. It's individual to each church. and then decide how you're going to get someone to get there based on how they come to your website. So if you want someone to visit your church in person, how are you going to guide them there to make that decision to come? So when they land on your website, you might put a big old button that says plan a visit, right? And then they can go and plan a visit, but you may also want them to know what they should expect. So maybe instead you put a button there that says, watch this video about your typical Sunday morning's expectations, or see what we're doing to save a seat for you, or even just watch a message, right? That's the first step. So you take them over to watch a message page, right? Then maybe at the bottom underneath the most recent sermon, it says, like this sermon, plan a visit and hear it live. Or if you want to do a meet with the pastor, if that's like your final destination, right? Then maybe you put a button there that says, enjoy the sermon, have coffee with the pastor. And then every button on your website should lead to that eventual goal. So if the goal is to have coffee with a pastor, then even when someone's on the kids ministry page, there should still be an option there for someone to connect with the pastor. So on the kids ministry page, maybe you introduce what the kids ministry does. And then as they go down, they see the event. And then maybe there's an option there to connect and have coffee with the children's pastor. So there's multiple ways to guide someone through your website. And it's no longer just I hope they make a decision here, but you're guiding them through your website to make a decision that you want. And man, my dogs are going nuts again. Can you hear them?
Yeah.
Man, these stupid dogs. Okay, I don't know what they're doing. I give them a bone. Usually they're quiet. If I have to go out and let them out, just let me know. So that's what we're going to do. And actually, when we do the blog post, I'm going to actually kind of map through a demo site with you where you can see kind of how I would map out a church website to get them to the same eventual goal, which could be just fill out a contact form so we can call them back, have coffee with the pastor, or plan a visit. But really sit down and think, what's the eventual thing you want them to do? And then guide them to do that on each page.
That makes total sense. That it's the difference between, like you say, like all right, I'll see you later. He's going to take care of the dogs. He'll be right back. That's funny. So how's everybody doing? Let me see if there's anything going on in the chat room while he's off for a sec. Too funny.
So I thought you were just gonna like do your commentary.
No, because I have you on a double screen, and you.
Oh, why do you always have me on the screen, Dave?
Oh, let's see. I took this opportunity for 2 seconds while you stepped away to take a look at the chat room. Christopher Hall says we have an inception of Dave. Yes, you do. Let's see. Dawn says, why can't we get notifications for people who are on our public pages when we go live?
We'll address that during the Q&A, yeah.
Okay. And Christopher says, make a website like shopping in a store, guide them where you want them to buy. That is exactly right. And that's kind of what I was going to say. He stole my thunder there. Thanks a lot. All right, hang on just a second here. All right, I'm going to notify myself over this little break. Yeah, that makes total sense, Justin. It's like the difference between, kind of like throwing, a shotgun. Basically, we just like shoot at anything and hope some pellets, knock a bird out of the sky or something, and sitting there with a deer rifle and say, that's the deer I want out of those 2 deer standing there, and getting exactly. You're able to take the folks and guide them through the journey, just like you would, as Christopher said in the chat, at a store. The grocery stores do that. When we walk in, they have certain things at certain entrances that they know that either we are looking for on a regular basis, so it's just like right there, or they take their manager specials, and they put those things there, and they want to guide us to those things first, and then to all the ancillary stuff around, right? So that makes total sense, and I'm glad you're going to map that out and kind of walk them through that. That's something that we're trying to do on our website ourselves. You and I is guide people through a little journey, and when you go to our landing pages and stuff like that, sort of walk you through a journey to an outcome that we think that you're really going to get some value from. So that's fantastic. All right, so now let's kick off to our Q&A feature presentation.
And now, our feature presentation.
Okay, I am going to cut to you, and you are going to introduce our feature presentation
Oh,
here. So
well, thank you.
3, 2, 1, go for it.
All right, today on the show we're gonna do Easter Q&A with Dave and Justin. Man, I wish we had a rhyme there, like Easter Q&A with Justin and Day. We got rid of the V. We had to sell it to pay for Easter advertising.
That's
It's
right.
just no. Today, seriously, we're talking about Easter Q&A, and for our live audience watching live, we're going to address their questions first.
Yes.
And if we answer everything they ever wanted to know about Easter preparation, then we'll move on to some common questions we've discovered in the church Facebook groups. So if you are watching live, go ahead and comment down below. What is your burning Easter question? I'm having this issue with my camera. I'm having this question
Right.
about our website or landing page. What is your burning question? And we already have one that came in. Dawn.
Real quick. If
Yes,
you're
go ahead.
watching, if you're watching the replay, if you're watching the podcast, listening to the podcast, watching us on YouTube, then leave your burning question in the comments, and he and I will get after it as well. Or you can like leave comments in the on Facebook in the comments of the replay of the show. So, what does Dawn have to say?
So Dawn wants to know. She said, "Why can't we get notifications for people who are on our public pages when we go live?"
So let me see if I understand this. Everybody has a profile, right? So we have all got our Facebook profiles. You and I have a Facebook page for Church Training Academy. She has a Facebook page for her church. If someone likes that page, she's asking why, when that person, whether they are friends or not, if they like that page, then why is she not getting notified as the administrator of that page when that person does something? Is that right?
See, I took it as, why can't she force Facebook to notify everyone that follows her page?
Gotcha. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
But we can address both sides of those. So Dave, you want to address that side, and I'll address my side, how I saw it, and hopefully one of us will get it right.
Well, I think the key is that whether she friends that person or not, if she friends that person, then obviously she'll get a greater chance of seeing anything that's happening in that person's stream. I think the important thing is to follow that person. So you don't have to friend people. You can follow some people, right? So you can see what's going on in their lives, but not necessarily, jump into chat windows and stuff like that. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. That's spot on.
Okay. And then the other thing that the deal that you're talking about, or that is something we've actually addressed in one of our mastermind groups, and that's the notification options on a page, right?
Yeah, that's right. So if you want, unfortunately, this is the bad answer, right? I have to be the bad guy. Don't shoot me. When you run a Facebook page for your church, you don't get to control how you notify other people. That's part of being on someone else's platform.
Right.
Facebook has the end user's best interest at mind. And I follow, let me see if I can find out actually real quick how many pages I follow. I'm still scrolling down through all my liked pages. I follow at least 80 pages on Facebook. They're all people that I enjoy, and they're all people that I want to hear from. But what I don't want is one ding every 5 minutes whenever someone does something or goes live or creates an event or something like that. Now, I do have that set for certain people that are like my inner circle, like the people, pretty much the pages that I pay because I want their information, the platforms, the influencers that I follow.
Right.
So Facebook is not going to just give you free marketing like that. What they do though is give your followers the option to tell Facebook, I want to get dinged every time that this person goes live. And the way they do that is you just go to the page. They go to the page. And then there's 3 buttons at the top: liked, following, or share. If they click on the following button, then they can control notifications whenever you do an event or live video. If that's on, then they will get the live notice. Now, that's on for some pages by default because there was a time when Facebook said, yeah, not everyone's doing live, so let's start pinging people whenever they go live. Now everyone's going live. And Facebook is like, okay, we're going to turn that off for default for now. And sometimes Facebook will play with it too. I've seen in my own experience, I will follow a page, and then for a few days, I'll get a notice when that page goes live.
Right.
But if I don't click on it, if I leave it alone, it's almost like Facebook turns that off. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
okay,
like you're signaling Facebook, I'm really not interested now.
yeah, it's like I like the page, and Facebook's like, hey, you just like this. You're probably still thinking about it. Here's a live video. And if
Right.
I ignore it, then Facebook is kind of like, I guess he doesn't want to get notifications. And I don't have any like verified proof that happens, but it's one of those things where it's like I feel like I've experienced
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, that's so it's all up to your followers. Your followers almost have to like an email opt-in. They have to
Right.
opt in for those live
And
notifications.
one of the things
You
that
cannot decide that for your followers
and
on the Facebook page.
along those lines, in that there's also the option for them to click to say see first. And so what will happen is when something new happens on your page, it will show up at the top of their feed, and then the algorithm will do the normal stuff that would organically have shown up on there. So for example, I follow Jay Sekulow, and so he goes live every day at 11 o'clock on his show. And so anytime they post something on his Facebook page, that shows up. So there'll be one or two posts from Jay Sekulow at any given time that I refresh my Facebook feed, and then there'll be something from Justin and something from, my friend Brady or whoever else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Now,
right.
The key, I think, guys, and this is something we talked about in our mastermind group 2 weeks ago. The key is to train the people on your page to do that, just like you would train them for your email list. To make sure it doesn't go into spam, go into Gmail and go to the promotions tab and drag it over to the primary tab, or add the email address to the whitelist. You would send out a little video or send out a few instructions, or put a footer in your email that says make sure that you always see these by following these instructions, something like that. So you can train your people. You can make a video that you put in your thing and keep it. Can you pin on a page, or is it only in a group?
You can pin on a page, yes.
Okay, so you can pin a welcome video basically at the top of your page. So the first thing they see is a welcome, and hey, here's how to get the most out of this page. Click up here, do a little screen capture, something like that. So it's educating them on how to do it, and then it works out really well. And I also think that they just need to incorporate their email strategy with some of the things that are going on their Facebook page. Sometimes, like when they go live or something, they also, a minute before they go live, send out an email to their list saying, we're going live, come join us, kind of like we do with our show.
That's right. That's something you'll hear a lot here at Church Training Academy is email is just as important as everything else.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not collecting email, you're relying on something you don't own. You have some control over Facebook, but you don't own it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you really want to get people engaged with what you're doing, email is another good place to do it, because again, you own it. You send them a message and you can tell them, hey, we're live now. Facebook, they have to tell you that they want to hear from you. All right. So great. Okay. So Don said, when I'm doing a live podcast, or excuse me, when I'm doing a live broadcast, I don't see people show up to watch if they're not my friends. Yeah, that's what we were talking about that in the pre-show. We're talking about how I can't see who's watching if they're not my friends. I don't get a notice. You can only see how many people are watching, but you can't see like what their names are. That's what we were talking about before the show, right?
Well, yeah. Well, you do get if you're looking at the comments, you can see who joins. So as soon as I go live, I see that Jordan joins, that Justin joined, things like that. We can see that if you look in that. If you're seeing it real time, and keeping your eye on it, then you can see when it happens. Otherwise, when you go back and look at it, you can see that certain people joined, and if it just says join and you never see a comment from them, it could be a drive-by. They checked in to see what's going on and said nah, and then moved on, or it could be that they're just they're just sitting there quietly and have it playing in a window while they're doing their work or something like that. So we like to ask people to comment, join. When you join us, be sure to say hi and let us know you're here. Do stuff like that so that we can then start an interaction with them as well. Do we have another question from the group, or do you want to move to our list?
Yeah, Mary had a question. She said, should we promote our Facebook Live service as an option on our Easter landing page and in our ad? So first of all, kudos to you, Mary, for having your Facebook Live service.
Yeah.
And having that there for people to watch. My question is, who's your target? Again, it all comes down to who's your target audience.
Right.
Now, Um, for your landing page, remember if your audience, if your landing page is centered around getting someone to your church on Easter Sunday morning, then obviously presenting a Facebook live stream negates that, right?
Right.
Because you're saying, hey, we have like for instance, our church, we're going to have an Easter breakfast, we're going to have service, we're going to have egg. I don't know if we're going to have an egg hunt, but if your church is doing something like that, that's, you want people to come. And if you present a Facebook live saying, hey, if you can't make it, we have a Facebook live stream, then it almost negates that, because then I can almost check that box like, oh, well, I don't have to go, I can watch it at home.
Right.
And really, I'm probably not going to watch it at home. It just makes me feel better to think that.
Right.
So if your primary goal of your ad campaign and your landing page is to get people on board, then don't include that information on there. Your insiders can know, your insiders. Now I'm talking CTA speak.
Yeah.
Your church members should know that there's a live stream.
Absolutely.
So if they're out of town, they can still plug into their home church. Now, if your goal is to just get the message out there, if you're just like, hey, people are looking for Easter messages, we want to be a part of that, and that, then Facebook live stream would fit that profile. So then you can put it on there. But I would do one more step. I wouldn't just say, by the way, we have a live stream on our Facebook page. I don't know why this is coming out as Donald Trump, but
it's going to be huge. It's going to be a huge live stream. It's going to be the best.
It's going to be huge. 7 million people are going to watch it. I would do one more, and I would say, can't make it Sunday morning, follow us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or we'll notify you when the live stream is on, even better, and get their email address.
Right.
And then you can send that email like we were just talking about. It's a circle, Dave. Everything just comes right back around. Send them an email that says, hey, we're going live now. Because again, if you get their email, you can follow up and nurture with them and tell them about your church. And then they may make a visit before Easter.
One thing you can,
go ahead, Dave.
One thing you can do, it just kind of occurred to me, and I don't know why we haven't talked about doing this more purposefully, is schedule a Facebook ad to promote your live stream that runs, say it starts on Easter Sunday, and it's targeting the families, families or individuals 25 to 65 within a 5-mile radius of your house, or a 10-mile radius of your church, excuse me. So that you've been promoting, come to our service, come join us. Okay, but then if there's people who are waking up and not even thinking about going to church, but they meet that demographic, and you're paying to get so many views of that, they're going to see that ad when they jump into Facebook, because it's targeted towards them, and then they could join remotely. And it's kind of like, it's almost like that. Okay, all the paying guests are here and stuff, so we've got some open seats now. So first come, first serve. It's that last little bit of general admission, I guess, if you want to look at it that way.
That's right. That's right. So, Mary, I hope that kind of explained it for you. And if anyone else had that question, should I promote my Facebook Live? Really comes down to what is the goal of your landing page, and what is the goal of your promotions. Now, Dave, I got a question from you. This is from one of the church Facebook groups, and I think it applies to a lot of people that might be watching.
Okay.
Any suggestions for a 30 to 60 second film clips? Any suggestions on sites to get 30 to 60 second film clips?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm just saying this in the most confusing way possible.
Yes.
Do you have any suggestions? Someone's looking for a 30 to 60 second film clip, and they want to use it on the church stage, but they don't, it's not like backgrounds. Like, they want to use like actual, I would call it stock footage.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions where we can find some good stuff for Easter?
I do. And I think that speaks to a larger thing, just parenthetically. We use, like, with our slides or with our sermon notes or our lyrics or something like that. A lot of us are using motion backgrounds and stuff. An alternative to doing that is getting something that, some actual scenery or footage of some kind or whatever, and using it creatively. Like, you don't want it to be distracting. You want it to work with it, right? So, if you have something, and then like blur it so that there's actually some motion and stuff back there, and it's not just, kind of digital backgrounds or something, you could do that. Places to look for that. There's paid options, and there's really expensive paid options, and then there's, great value paid options, and there's free options and stuff. One of the highest quality ones that I'm aware of right now is called StoryTape. Um, it's also pretty expensive. You can end up paying a couple $100 a month to get it, but they've got thousands and thousands of video clips of all kinds of different stuff, scenery, people, rushing water. I mean, just from all over the world, which is cool. And at that $200 a month level, you're getting 4K footage, which works really good if you're like triple screen, or quadruple screen, kind of deal at your church. You don't have to like take something and scale it up so much. You can use it at that native resolution. Anyway, then there's also something I've been using for a long time. It's called VideoBlocks, videoblocks.com, and it's about $150 a year, and they have hundreds of thousands of videos of varying lengths, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. It just depends on what it is, and a wide range of stuff. They have a lot of international stuff as well, so you can get some really pretty scenery or international city scenes or things like that, as well as people and nature and just a rose doing this, all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, and then for free, check out Pexels, PEXELS.com. That is a free video footage site. There's also Pixabay, which is a tool that Justin and I use a lot for when we need to grab an image. When you see some of our thumbnails, we have like a desktop with a laptop and a phone or something, things like that. We're grabbing from Pixabay, and they've got video and vectors and photos and things like that. And then there's also Lightstock. Lightstock.com is Christian religious themed. Their pricing model is kind of like a credit type system where you can like subscribe and get X amount of downloads per month, 25 images or 60 or 100 or whatever, or do it by the year, do it by the month, kind of a pay as you go, buy the credits, and just each month the credits keep accruing and stuff. I guess is how it's going to happen. I wouldn't think that they would say, you didn't use your 60, so doesn't matter, you don't have 120 next month. If they do, that's kind of jerky. Anyway.
They don't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. That would be really jerky. So anyway, it's really cool, and they've got some really great stuff there as well. And then of course check Creative Commons. Just look for stuff out there as well if you're looking for free things. Justin, I've got a question for you about like yard signs. Is that still effective? I see them for campaigns and stuff. I got 4 of them out in my yard, but like for church related things, for Easter stuff like that, do you still think they're effective?
Dave, I hate that I do this so often, but to answer your question, I have to ask another question.
Okay.
Is if they were ineffective, how would you know? And by that I mean, let me go ahead and now let me answer my question because it's
not
a
measurable,
podcast, right? If you were to call anything ineffective, you have to have a measuring stick to judge it by,
sure,
right? So if you want to know if yard signs work or don't work, you first have to figure out how you're measuring it. And as far as I know, there's a few ways to measure whether yard signs work. Number one is if you have some way for your guests to tell you how they heard about you.
Right.
So if you have a checkbox that says on your Connect card, how'd you hear about us? Facebook, website, billboard, yard sign. They can check the box and you're like, yes, yard signs obviously still work. That's how they heard about us. The other thing, which is more prominent in churches than business, but that works in our favor for this case, is word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times someone will tell the pastor, I love your message. And I can't believe I came here because I just saw a yard sign. Right. And God said, that's the place to go to. I had a feeling in my gut. And then, of course, what you can do a little bit more advanced in marketing is give unique contact points. So right. Your website is fbechurch.com, but your Easter yard sign says, looking for a church for Easter. That's way too long for a yard sign, but Easter church service, Easter@fbe.com, right? And then based on how many people went to that website that's only on yard signs,
right? Or
call a number that's only on yard signs. That's how many people are using the yard signs.
It's like the promo codes we see in the infomercials.
Exactly.
And stuff. Use TV1.
Come to Bill and Ted's Excellent Church and tell us promo code Easter yard sign sale, and we'll give you a free mug.
Go ahead. Along that, I would think if you want to just find out if yard signs are working, take an event and only use yard signs to promote it and just see. And it doesn't have to be a huge event of consequence. It could be uh, I mean, it could be a youth game night or something like that, and it's like, let's find out if people respond to these things. So we're not going to put it on the website. We're not going to we're just going to put yard signs out. Everybody put one in your yard, and stick, if you got a business, stick it in the window, things like that, just to get an idea. If something you'll know that your students would come for a game night or a lock-in or something like that. But if a whole bunch of others come in, then it's either word of mouth or it's those yard signs. Then
Exactly.
that's an easy way to test, I think, just the general effectiveness with without like ruining Easter because we only used yard signs and there were no visitors. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Yeah,
want to
right,
bet the whole
right.
farm
The
on
other
it.
thing you can do is for something like Easter, where it is a big event, just stop for 1 year. Just don't put yard signs out
Mm,
for 1 year and see what happens. We had the yard signs. Let me start over. We had yard
I'm leaving
signs
that
for
in.
VBS, but it didn't promote VBS. It promoted the bus that takes kids to VBS. So it
Ah,
was free summer camp, buses available. Call this number. And we had a lot of people call that number asking for a bus. It wasn't promoting VBS. It was promoting the travel. So our pastor, our church, our children's pastor knew if people called in for a bus ride, they know it was because of the sign, because that was the only place we talked about bus rides was the yard signs. And if we were to stop, those calls probably would have stopped because no one else knew it was happening. So you just try stopping for 1 year. Just say, hey, we're going to put it on pause and we're going to see if our Easter attendance is down. Even if it's down by 50 people, I think that's a pretty good indicator. If everything else is the same, that the yard signs were bringing in those 50 people. So try stopping for a season, and if you notice a difference, then just pick it right back up. That's how you know. But the main thing is you need to know how to measure it. Dave, I got a question for you, and this is actually for both of us.
okay.
Uh, Someone has an Easter service coming up, and the sermon title is "Fear Not." Is that
Okay.
too Christianese?
Is that too Christianese? It depends. Are you using the title of the sermon to try to draw people in?
Oh, so
Or,
yeah. It's not only the title of the sermon; it's the title of our Easter service.
so okay, so all the promo stuff, the yard signs, the website, the new banner on the the landing page, the new banner on the Facebook page, all of that just says "Fear Not."
Fear
April
not.
1st, 2018,
2000.
9:30
Fear not.
a.m.
Easter morning.
Yes. Um, I do think that is. I think that's a little inside baseball. That's like walking up to somebody on the street and saying, "Are you saved?" And the guy goes, "No, I crossed with the light. You know, I'm fine, thank you." So nobody saved me. I didn't jaywalk. So, um, I think it might be if that is your entire huge branding thing. Again, like you say, the question is, who are you? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to bring in a bunch of Christians that understand what fear not means to come to the service, or are you using it as an outreach tool that's, hey, with the idea of, hey, we know you go at Christmas and Easter and that's it. You don't even go on Mother's Day that because you're a jerk. You only go on these 2 days, so here we are. Come join us. Then I think fear not. What does that mean? Because I
Yeah,
only go twice.
to me, it sounds like if someone's like, "Hey, would you like to try some Gatorade?" And I'm like, "Ooh, what is it?" And then he's like, "Glacier Frost."
Yeah,
And I'm like, "What does that mean? I
yeah.
don't know." And it's, man, my dogs are barking again. This is just the worst day ever. So
Are you in the middle of a home invasion?
I hope not, man. They're never this loud. I'm just gonna start putting them outside. Anyway, so like if someone handed me a Gatorade, I'd be like, "Hey, what is it? What is this?" And they're like, "Glacier Frost or Wild Blue." I'm like, I am not drinking that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
What's going on? So fear not. It's a great title, but it, it, someone says, "Hey, fear not." If they have to ask, "What is that?" or
yeah,
it's not even like a "Can you tell me more?" It's what is that? You've already lost 80% of your audience.
yeah.
So yes, it is too Christianese. Keep it clear. Cute confuses, as Donald Miller says, and just call it Easter.
Right.
Kind of like my wife is like, "What do you think we should do for Jill's birthday theme?" How about birthday?
Yeah, cake, ice
Cake
cream,
and candles and
and
party
some of those
hats.
funny
That's
looking little
pretty
friends of
easy.
hers. Yeah.
So, Dave, I have to get going, but
Okay.
let me ask you one more question for our audience. I
Yes.
think it is a little bit more for everyone. How can we use Facebook Live to promote and hype up our Easter weekend? Because I think the issue is Facebook Live, really only goes to the followers of the
Right.
group, of the page. So I don't know if it can so much promote, but I think it can hype up. What are some ideas that you have that we can utilize Facebook Live in more ways than just, recording sermon announcements
Sure.
or
Sure.
sermon
Sure.
announcements? And I'm going to take off. So
Okay.
thank you guys for watching. I'll be in the chat while Dave answers this and then closes us out. Thanks for the questions in the chat. God bless everyone, and I'll see you next week.
I think that Facebook Live, as a promotional tool for the event that you're having, I think the the best way to use it is to use it to show what's going on as you are getting ready. Little things like when you take a look at our list, at the checklist at churchtrainingacademy.com/Easter. Um, you can use Facebook Live. We talk about in general using Facebook Live, to live stream, official stuff, and then also use it to like showcase the culture of your church and what's going on. And these little quick hits where the pastor just goes live at his, from his computer while he's working on the sermon and just, says, "Hey, God's been showing me this week," or whatever. Or the youth director, comes running in while they're printing bulletins and says, "What are y'all doing?" And you just kind of goof off and stuff. That sort of stuff showcases some of the culture of the church, of the people involved in your church, and all that. And I would use Facebook Live to show as you guys are getting ready. Okay, so like one of the things in our list is we talk about the identifying lighting problems. Okay, so like in the sanctuary, the actual physical house lights and stuff like that. Okay, so we've got bulbs that are out. Okay, well we've also got our LED lights that are misaligned, or that one has gone out and that one has gone out. We need to get those replaced and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a scissor lift come in, on this one day, and we're going to change all these light bulbs, and we're also going to realign the projectors, and we're going to do this. We're going to, so on that day that stuff is going on, then do some live streams. Hey guys, we're getting ready for Easter, and we took this time to go ahead and make sure all of our lights and stuff are all fixed and everything's good, and there's not someone sitting in the dark over here in this one corner or whatever and stuff. And so you see our intern Bob is up there. Bob, don't kill yourself. Doing stuff like that just sort of keeps things in the front of people's minds that, hey, we're doing stuff for Easter, we're getting things set up, and here's a fun video of us goofing off while we're getting it taken care of or doing stuff like that. It's of no consequence, but it's engaging, and that's the important thing, right? Doing things like when you're having the drive for the candy, you can like go on Facebook Live and it's still a month and a half out and say, hey guys, we need candy. I mean, here's what we have. We've got in our gigantic box that we have out here in the hallway is the gigantic box that says leave your Easter candy here, and then you take the phone and you go like right over to the thing, and there's like one bag of circus peanuts in there. Guys, we need more than circus peanuts. You guys have got to help us. This is ridiculous. Come on, everybody. We want some Snickers. We want some Jolly Ranchers. We want, you can do stuff like that. Do a Facebook Live. And again, you communicate a message, you have fun with it, and it's just another piece of engaging short content that kind of can help with the branding, the name, the Easter's coming, we're doing something special for Easter. All those sort of messages can come through there because, a couple times a week as you guys are doing all the prep, stuff is happening. When you have your egg stuffing party, you go in there and you've got all the youth are sitting in there, and there's just piles of plastic eggs and tables loaded with candy and stuff, and you can hype that up and go live doing that. So that's how I would use live streaming in like preparation and promotion for doing it. Little things like that showcase the culture, showcase the people that are a part of this, showcase the fun people having fun, getting things prepped up and getting things ready. We're getting excited about Easter. We're going to have a fantastic weekend, and I'm working with a couple of guys to make sure that that the hallways have been that getting the touch-up paint done in the hallways and stuff. Or hey, we've just put in new carpet, or we've done this, and we want to make sure that Easter weekend is great. We're trying to get this done for Easter, so that everybody is excited when they walk in and see that there's new carpet, there's new signs, or whatever, any of that sort of stuff. So that's how we can do that. I'm going to check the chat room before I do the closing here, guys. Mary, by the way, let's see. Mary, lifestyle offshore. We have an older demographic in our neighborhood. I like the idea of doing an ad that morning. Yeah, that just kind of hit me. We use Facebook ads to promote things, to boost posts, and to do all that sort of stuff. I think doing an ad that drops that morning. Obviously, the people are already up who are coming. They're up. They're getting ready. They're doing all that sort of stuff. But the other people, if you can catch them and have them join live, fantastic. It costs you $50 maybe, if you really want to try to get 10,000 people to see it, but if you spend $20 or $30 or something, you can get, a few thousand people to be able to see it, within, a few hours if you want. I mean, you can really target these ads too. So, or you could have it run that day, and then with a link to the replay, for later in the week or whatever. So anyway, there we go. Let's see, Christopher Hall. Tommy has a really good point. We were talking about the stock video and stuff. Tommy had a really good point to use your own video if possible. That is always one of those things that if you've got people on your ministry team or people in the church that have a talent for photography or for videoing, then use them to generate stock stuff that has more meaning because it's done by the people in the church, of the people in the church. Okay, here's an example. You got a playground, okay, at your church. So if you got some swings on there, why go look for footage of children running around and playing on a playground to use in a promotion or something for Vacation Bible School, when you can go out there during a fellowship with some kids who are out there playing and set up a camera and get some really nice shots of kids swinging, the kids swinging back and forth and doing stuff like that. Start building your own library, okay? Number one, it's cheaper. Number two, the people who do it take ownership of it, meaning I'm doing this for my church. I'm going to take extra care and make sure that it's really good. They have the I did that kind of a sense of pride, proper pride, not foolish pride. And then it's people in the church, so it has more meaning when you use it on the website or use it in a service. You use it as a visual background. You use it in an ad or something like that because it's actually those people and it's things that people can relate to. And when people see that imagery, video or photographic imagery, and then come to the church and recognize that person, then it's like, oh, wow, cool. Okay, I recognize you. Yeah, I think we know each other, and it just helps build that little conversation. Christopher Hall says, yard signs, shouldn't you pay attention to the demographic? Because I could see youth not pay attention to them, but older people looking at them. That's exactly right. Again, going back to who the target is for seeing those. So if you have sections of your town where you know that there's different types of demographics, I want to say an older part of town is going to have older people in it, but depending on what's going on in your city, the older neighborhoods could have families moving in because it's quieter, so you got more younger families than you do older folks that are living there and stuff. So you kind of need to know what's going on. But yes, I would definitely say that older aged folks, middle age, upper ages, would see and pay attention to yard signs because they've been seeing and paying attention to yard signs as a means of promotion a lot longer than kids who are looking at their phone in the car or driving, trying to fiddle with the radio or giggling with their friends and eating a burger, whatever these crazy kids do. So yeah, but that's a good thought. It's a really good thought. All right, cool. So if you guys don't have any other questions, then I'm going to go ahead and do our closing, and then I'll do our intro, and then we can all bid each other a fond adieu. Let's see here. Okay, so there's our Q&A. We've been able to get a few things. Thanks to the folks that have joined us live and been able to provide some feedback and some questions kind of on the spot as we go. That's awesome. I love when that happens. Thank you to Justin for gathering some good questions out of some of the social media channels as well. Guys, if you are looking to make Easter absolutely fantastic this year and are thinking, I know we got to do a bunch of stuff, but I'm not sure what to do, and I know that stuff that we're missing and all that sort of stuff, then you can go to churchtrainingacademy.com/Easter and you can get our checklist. We got like 21 items that we went through and came up with things that you need to do so many weeks out, and like the week of. And some of it is stuff that I actually didn't think about until we started writing these things down, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is stuff that we need to take care of." Things like making sure that the lights in the church, the house lights, that there's not some of them that are burned out and stuff. Why is that? Because depending on how it's set up in there, if you've got a balcony where people could more easily see those lights, like you got pendant lights or something, and they're sitting up there as a guest because it's full, so they can only sit in the balcony. And all of a sudden, they're going, look, they got ceiling tiles that are missing, and they've got lights that are burned out and stuff like that. These people don't take care of their stuff. This is kind of icky. That's subliminal stuff that's happening in their head, making them go, okay, I'll go to that other church because at least they take care of their stuff. Things like that we may not have thought about. And it's actually pretty important. Wiping the smudges off of the doors. You got white doors and people are not grabbing onto the handle, but they're sticking it with their hand, or they're doing, getting that stuff cleaned up. Little stuff like that, just so that your presentation of your facilities looks good, right? Making sure that, if the carpet is a little older and it's getting wrinkled up, that you got a carpet guy come out to stretch it. Little stuff like that, as well as, hey, our projectors are off a little bit, so let's, a month out, let's get that done. Let's replace the bulbs. Let's do things. I mean, there's all that kind of stuff, right? So go to churchtrainingacademy.com/Easter, and you can go through our checklist. And as of this recording, we've got 7 Sundays before we get to Easter. So the stuff that is like 10 weeks out, you've got 7 weeks. So you need to get these things done, get them done now, get these balls in the air and wheels in motion and stuff so that you guys can put your best foot forward for the second, is it the second? Yeah, the second heaviest trafficked weekend in any given church. I know I'm going to get this wrong. I want to say it's Easter, Christmas, and then Mother's Day, I think is what Justin said. Justin's probably going to jump in the room and in the chat here and tell me it's the other one, because last time I said it backwards or something. Anyway, there's 3 that are heavily trafficked, where most people, if they don't go to church on a regular basis, they will go Christmas, Easter, and Mother's Day because they love their mama and mama wants them to come to church. So grab that checklist. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this has been helpful to you. Know that you are loved. Know that Justin and I pray for you guys. And take what you've learned and go change lives. Have a fantastic week. Okay, that's the intro, or the extro, the outro, the close. That's the close. So now I'm giving myself a little visual here, and I'm going to do a intro. And I don't know what to do for the intro. Let's see. Christmas Eve, Mother's Day, Easter. Okay, see? Leave it to Dawn. She and Justin are in cahoots. Y'all two are in cahoots. Y'all are getting, you're like, okay, let's throw this at him this week. Let's see. Mary says, man, Mary Jemerson Fortenberry. I grew up with some Fortenberries. I'm sitting here looking at your name, and you don't look like anybody I grew up with, but I know that last name. Let's see. Gave the checklist to my pastor yesterday. He was so impressed about how comprehensive it is. Thank you for it. Absolutely. If he is really impressed, tell him to come to check out Church Training Academy, because we would love for him to become a member, and you as well. And join our CTA Insiders group and all that, and let's all work together. Let's see here, guys. Okay, yeah, there was a thing from Justin in there talking to Chris about the yard sign. So yeah, we're good. All right, so I'm going to do an intro here. I'm not sure what to do. If anybody's got any ideas, throw them at me in here. You guys know how to do the intro, because y'all subscribe to the podcast, right? CTApodcast.com. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, go subscribe, because I want to get those numbers up. and then also let other people know so that they can subscribe as well. But y'all know how I do the show. I do a like a tease at the very beginning, and I'm not sure what to do. What does Dawn say? She just said something about yard signs. In areas where there's lots of realtor signs or during election time, people, regardless of the age, don't pay attention to yard signs. I think you're right. I think you're right. They end up being because they're all kind of clustered together. Unless there's one that's like really gigantic, that like really stands out. It's all just kind of color visual clutter, and we do tend to kind of get past them. And you know what? Frankly, that's a good thought when it comes to doing yard signs. Is when you do have a campaign or in a heavy area where realtors put their signs and stuff. Don't put your sign in that mix where there's like 10 other signs. Don't do that. Do other areas around town where you can do it, or individual yards. And I would think there's something to be said about like every house having a yard sign. That would be great. But I think when the yard signs, I notice I think I talked about this a few months back, like out in San Angelo where my in-laws live. They have periods of drought out there, and so for a couple of years it was really bad. And I started noticing just every few, on a street, one or two houses on a street would have a yard sign that said "Pray for rain." And one of the churches, I think it was actually their church, had been handing out these signs, these little "Pray for rain" things. And it wasn't overwhelming, but I saw them enough to make me think "Pray for rain." There were not an overabundance of them so that I started ignoring them. It would just be as we were driving, I would notice "Pray for rain," and then, a mile later, "Pray for rain," So there's a little something to be said about that. Anyway, yard signs are really interesting. Like I said, I got 4 of them out in my yard. I'm blowing it up for a friend of mine who's running for Congress. So anyway, let's see. Guys, I need to do this intro. So somebody help me here. Let's see. Okay, here, I'm just going to go for it. You've got questions? We've got answers. Or at least we think we have answers. We're going to try to have answers. There's an idea that we're going to share some answers. Anyway, it's all about Easter weekend, and you've got questions. We've got answers. All right, I think I can cut that up, and that'll work good. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the recording here. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. I hope your weekend is good. Thank you to our CTA insiders last night who joined us in our mastermind. It was really good. We had some good conversations, got some stuff figured out and all that. I love that time with you guys. Don't forget, if you want to join us for that, then you need to become a CTA insider. You can do that at churchtrainingacademy.com/join. Great information there. Anyway, you guys take care. I love you all.